Hey folks, it's raining like cats and dogs outside. It is Thursday, November 20th, and here are three breaking stories within the last 24 hours that you need to know about. Now, this story is pretty cool. In a collective effort, the United States, the UK, and Australia have announced a coordinated set of sanctions against a Russian web hosting company that's known for aiding ransomware attacks. We're talking about Medialand, folks, a bulletproof web hosting provider that's based out of St. Petersburg. They've been accused of providing safe harbor and haven to ransomware gangs like Lockbit and others. These sorts of services enable and protect cyber criminals, allowing them to basically attack businesses all over the world with impunity. John K. Hurley from the U.S. Treasury Department stressed that firms like Medialand provide cyber criminals with all sorts of essential services to launch attacks on American and other allied networks. Now, the British authorities, they actually took it a step further and implemented asset freezes and travel bans on Medialand's leadership. Pretty cool, yeah. Among those sanctioned is Medialand's alleged ringleader, Alexander Volosovic, also known as Yalashanda. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with the name, Yalashanda is a shadowy figure that's linked to multiple infamous hacking groups, including EvilCore and Lockbit. Now, this coordinated effort sends a really strong message to cyber criminals and underground SaaS providers and really marks a rare and much-needed multinational effort to disrupt these ransomware systems. Now, our second story today is all about how Microsoft neutralized one of the largest cyber attacks ever recorded. Yeah, in late October, a massive DDoS assault targeted Microsoft's Azure platform, peaking at 15.72 terabits per second and 3.64 billion packets per second. This was literally the biggest such attack ever observed in the cloud. The company basically traced the attack back to an IoT botnet by the name of Isiru. Now, Isiru hijacked 500,000 home routers and other IoT security cameras in order to bombard this data center in Australia. And despite the attack, Azure was actually able to absorb and filter the attack, and there was no outage. So that's pretty cool, right? But here's my take. All of these attacks are going to continue to grow more and more powerful at an alarming rate because, again, they're basically scaling with the size of the internet. As we're creating more bandwidth, as we're creating more IoT devices online, we're going to continue to see these botnets grow because when it comes to IoT, folks, we all know the S in IoT stands for security. Think about that. All right, here's my hot take, okay? Even if you're not Cloudflare or Microsoft or a tech giant, don't think that you're out of the woods, folks. I actually have a friend of mine who's probably watching this right now. Hi, Bill. He was telling me just the other day about how he was targeted in a DDoS attack and the steps that he took to thwart the attack. Yeah. So my last story today is about a new piece of mobile malware that's been discovered, and this one's a doozy, folks. Researchers are warning about a brand new Android threat called Sturnus. Now, unlike traditional banking malware that waits for you to open a financial app, Sturnus is taking things to a different level, okay? Here's what's happening. Analysts have discovered that Sturnus is actively being tested in the wild as we speak. It's a Trojan that's designed to target banking apps, but also encrypted messaging tools and really any other process that stores and handles sensitive data. See, Sturnus isn't trying to break the encryption or do anything fancy, but instead it's basically quietly monitoring what's happening on screen and then relaying it to the threat actor. Now, what this does, it allows the threat actor to capture decrypted content literally the minute it shows up on the screen. That means that encrypted chat apps like WhatsApp, Telegram, and Signal, all of that can now be recording the messages and then sending it to the attackers. Sturnus also uses some advanced accessibility features that really allow it to take control of the device. I mean, it can click buttons, approve permissions. It can even intercept multi-factor prompts by interacting with the screen literally the same way a human would. So once installed, the malware can hijack all sorts of encrypted sessions. It can steal credentials, banking codes, and one-time passwords. So really scary stuff, folks. Now, we believe, again, that this is a product that's in its early development phase. It's not quite ready for prime time, but based on its capabilities, this has the potential to become one of the more powerful banking Trojans that we've seen in a really, really long time. And, well, frankly, even this is where I expect it to happen. I believe that it's eventually going to evolve into a fully operational campaign that's doing, again, banking credential theft, account takeover, fraud, this sort of stuff. For me, though, the ability to harvest and decrypt messaging content, that's really what scares the crap out of me. These sorts of messaging apps were literally built on top of the privacy and encryption message, right? And Sturnus throws all that out the window. This opens the door for, again, more identity theft, targeted social engineering, and all the sort of stuff that I always talk about. This, folks, for me, I believe is a major escalation in the mobile threat landscape. So my prediction, again, basically Sturnus is going to be incorporated into larger cybercrime ecosystems. Within the weeks and months to come, it's going to be either sold or leased on dark web marketplaces. So stay tuned. So my advice to you folks, especially Android users that jailbreak or sideload their apps, if you should already know this, but you're at a especially elevated risk here. So yeah, that about sums up our headlines for today. I hope you had I hope you have a great rest of your day. And for those of you that are in DFW and willing to risk the rain out here, I'll be presenting at tonight's North Texas Cybersecurity Meetup, where I'm going to be talking all about agentic AI and how threat actors are abusing AI in all sorts of crazy new ways. So hopefully I might see you there. This is Andy Thompson signing off.